Right.
All right. Do you want me to take
Um,
it, Candace?
just going to go housekeeping real quick.
Okay.
Just as a reminder, again, thanks for those of you that are on. If you're hearing this for the second time, apologies. But for those of you that have just recently joined us, please make sure your chat box is set to everyone so that we can all participate in the conversation today. We appreciate your guys' time. Today, Carl is going to talk with you about how to design and sell effective training programs. As you all know, that's the webinar that you've registered for today. We do these webinars every single month. We try to go deep on a specific feature just so that you can get an inside look at the platform and also learn from our pro coaches who are using the platform every single day. So we hope you enjoy the webinar today. Again, as you jump into the chat box, please let us know where you're calling in from and if you are currently a user of the platform or not. That'll just help us navigate the presentation. Of course, if you have questions, go ahead and drop those into the chat box as well during the presentation. We will have time at the end for dedicated Q&A. But if something pops up that I see is super relevant to what Carl's digging into, I'll make sure to pause him and draw his attention to that question as we go. But thanks again for joining. And I want to introduce OPEX and CoachRx CEO Carl Hardwick to kick us off.
Awesome. Man, that's an official title. Okay. Yeah, let's get rolling. Again, share that sentiment. Thanks a lot for everyone that is taking the time to join us. We're doing this one a few hours later than we usually do. So especially everyone joining us from East Coast time and to the right of East Coast. We appreciate you guys taking the time to join us. Today, we're going to be focusing on everything programs. So the programs feature in CoachRx. So this is actually our second go round of this type of webinar. So we did one back in, I believe it was mid-January, our first time where we implemented some new features and we just kind of did a features overview. What I'm going to do is, because I'm not going to dive deep into features specifically today, but I did just drop in the link to that last webinar that we did. So in that webinar, we did a deep dive into a general overview of features. And then we did do that live. So we created a program. We made that program live through the business suite, and we walked through how to build programs and storefronts and all that. We're not going to do that today. We're going to more walk through best practices and how we can use this feature, this programs feature, to design better programs, increase our efficiency. So it's more of an education take on the feature. So if you do want to dive a little bit deeper into that last webinar, feel free to do so. I know Candace mentioned this just now, but feel free to drop any questions in the chat box if you have any questions along the way. If something doesn't seem immediate, we'll just hold on it. But if it's relevant to what we're discussing right then and there, Candace, if you don't mind just stopping me, and we can answer those questions along the way, especially for those people watching the recording back. All right. What the heck are we doing here today? Okay, so goals of the webinar. Okay, so the three main pieces that we're going to hit today are around introing CoachRx program. So you guys that are in the platform, actually, let me pause really quick. If you guys can just throw in the chat box, who is in CoachRx right now, whether that's in trial or in subscription, just give me like a quick thumbs up or a yes, I am, whatever. Throw that in the chat box if you are currently in CoachRx. Sorry, guys, I usually do that at the top, but I just want to get a feel of what the split is for people that are in versus not. I'm not sure if we have something going on with the chat. If people have access, I haven't seen anything come through.
I have not either, and it shows we have quite a few people joining us today. So I'll look into that while you're going.
Okay, so sorry, guys, if you are not able to drop that in chat, we're not seeing it on our side. But Candace, if you can just look into that, and then when we swing to the to like midpoint, when we start getting questions, just making sure that we get those in chat. Okay, so three main goals. We're going to dig into CoachRx programs. So the programs that we're giving you guys in the platform on a monthly basis. So we'll talk about those programs we're giving them, or we're giving to you, and we'll talk about just best practices and how we'd love to see you guys leverage those programs and the reason why we're putting those programs in. Number two, we're going to hit using programs to improve your efficiency in your program design specifically. And then number three, we're going to talk about how to use programs to drive or increase revenue. And what we're going to hit there is just how you can do that. Okay, like how this feature is offering the ability to sell those programs online. All right, I know I said I'm not going to walk through specific features today, but I want to do this again just because this is probably our most popular question that we get. What is the difference between a standard and a live program? Okay, so we implemented this feature in along the same lines that we did that first webinar that was about January of 23. So what we did was we kept our normal standard program and then we added live programs to that. So let me just take a second to explain the differences. You can read the definitions, if you will, on the screen, but I'm going to talk about use cases more so. So a standard program, these are static programs. So just think you build this static program, you drop clients in that static program with the expectation that they start on day 1, they go to day 30, and then they're done with that program. So that's a static program, okay? Versus a live program, okay? There we go. Looks like we're good now. Versus a live program. So live programs are intended to take a number of clients through together, okay? So think of platforms like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with like a Wodify, where it's like everyone's doing the same workout. It gets pushed to their app or to their account, and everyone's kind of doing that together on that day. This is kind of the spirit of a live program. So the calendar is live, clients are dropped in, they see the workout for today, and workouts are pushed to their app as you design. Okay, so when you guys go into CoachRx and you click programs and you go to create a program, you're going to have 2 options. You can create a standard program or you can create a live program. That's what we mean by standard and live. Okay. I highly, highly recommend, because you can kind of like band-aid a standard program and make it work like a live program. But I highly recommend that you don't do that if you're adding a week every Sunday and you want people to follow along. Just please use the live program type, or it's going to be a pain in the butt because it's a band-aid if you try to use a standard like a live program. Sorry, guys, I'm going to take a tactical pause here. I'm just reading all the chats coming in. Okay, so it looks like we're mostly in CoachRx. A couple people that are not yet in, a couple people that are in trial. Awesome. Cool. Awesome. Courtney from Huntsville, Alabama. Interesting fact, my mom's side of the family is all from Huntsville, Alabama. I went there when I was like 7 years old and it was culture shock, but I loved it. Okay. Let's dig into CoachRx programs. Okay, so we have about 30 programs that span across energy systems, training ages, and intent uploaded into CoachRx. Okay, so I'll walk through what this looks like and how you actually download those programs. But although this is coaching software, we still have a heavy fitness education bias. And we will continue to add these programs as learning opportunities or inspiration, and just for you guys to use to kind of leverage in your own designs. So we upload these on a consistent basis. Okay, so you can assign these directly to clients. You can use as inspiration for your own design. You can use as a starting point to modify and personalize after assigning that program. And it's fairly easy in how you do this. So I'm just going to swipe over here to CoachRx. So what you do here, you'll see this little button that says download programs. Okay. So you just click that button, you choose the program or programs you would like to add to your account. You hit download programs, and then that's going to show up in your program list for your entire organization. And when I say organization today, I mean you as the organization owner and all of your coaches that are inside of your organization. They all have access to this index. Okay, so you can go ahead and download one or all of those programs. And then we wanted to put this in as well, where you can just kind of slide that over to hide CoachRx templates, just to show your organization programs, just in case your programs list gets a little bit crowded. Okay, so those are CoachRx programs. All right, let's talk about using CoachRx to improve efficiency. Just really quick, just because I got a message from Monica here. Can you guys see my screen? Yes. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, Monica, I don't know if that's just something going on with your screen there. Yeah, no worries. Okay, so let's talk about how we can use CoachRx programs to improve efficiency. So we can create and leverage standard programs to use in a similar manner that we just discussed when discussing using our programs or CoachRx programs, because all the programs that we deploy from CoachRx, those are all standard programs. So it's a predetermined amount of days and weeks. And then that's what you get. If you want to add to it, you can. If you want to take it away, you can as well. But it's a standard program that we're deploying out. So you can also create live programs to take cohorts of individuals through the same program in real time. Okay, so there's a couple of ways you can do that, right? So, you might have, you might be, coaching a small group of individuals and they're all doing the same program. It's like, okay, I'm going to drop those 10 individuals into this program. And it's almost like a set it and forget it, right? It's like you're designing on a week to week basis, but those 10 people are all doing the same design. Or you can have that small group of individuals and you're designing for each, or you're setting it and forgetting it. And then you're going into their client calendar to modify each client's design. So you can get creative in how you use live programs, just as you can get creative with how you use standard programs. But that's an efficiency unlock to kind of use that to take people through the same or similar programs. Okay, so let's talk about tips when using programs to improve just your day-to-day efficiency. Okay, so number one, I would offer up the advice to understand your typical client. Okay, so if you have 20 clients, I'm going to assume that about half of them have similar goals, similar training experiences, similar capabilities, etc. Okay, so with that in mind, if you have a cohort of individuals that are very similar, maybe you're taking them through similar aerobic progressions or resistance progressions or whatever the case might be, you can build intent-based programs. And I mean this quite literally. So if you notice a good amount of your clients need to acquire motor control in the squat pattern, or want to achieve their first pull-up, or want to improve their aerobic capacity, what you can do at that point is build skeletons for those and design their programs around those skeletons if that is their main goal. So I'm going to slide over to programs really quick, and I'm just going to show you one example. Let's choose the 5K row, increasing race pace. Okay, so this is a program that we offer up. This is a standard program, super simple. Okay, so you can see intention here, what the split is. It's only 2 days. Starts with a 5K row time trial, and then we're just progressing a row program to improve that 5K row time trial over a number of weeks. Okay, so you can take this and you can just use this as almost a skeleton or inspiration to then build a program design around it. So here's an example of just that. Okay, so we have a client on their calendar. These little orange notes here, those indicate that 5K row program. Okay, so you'll notice that that's Tuesday and Saturday are those days that I chose for this individual. And they're going through that entire progression over the number of weeks that they're going through the program, the 6 weeks. And then we have full body resistance around there. Okay, so the other 3 days of the week, it's just personalized to them. We're just giving them an FBR program, but I'm just using that 5K progression as a skeleton. And it doesn't mean that you always have to set it and forget it there, right? It's like, this is a very typical, like 5 minutes at 5K pace. Okay, you can get specific and plug in their exact pace, or you can just leave that if they know what you mean by that. Okay, or you can personalize other things like volume, rest, all of those things. But I guess the spirit of the example is you can just use that skeleton as a template to drop in and then personalize on top of it. So whenever you work with a client that has a new goal or intent, and this is the save new use cases example. Okay, so whenever you work with a client that has a new goal or intent, and maybe you've never built a program for that goal or for that intent, I would recommend using that as an opportunity to build that out as a standard program. Okay, so quick example, let's say that you're working with a pregnant woman for the first time and you're like, okay, this is the first for me. So you're educating yourself around what she should do, what she shouldn't do, what she should do within the capabilities in terms of restrictions. with a growing belly over time, and you're like, I'm going to split this up into 3 big cycles. I'm going to do a first trimester, second trimester, third trimester training program. And you're like, that was an awesome program. I'm just going to save that, and I'm going to use it whenever I'm going to use that template whenever I get someone, another woman that is pregnant, to take her through that journey. And, maybe you're using that as quite literally a template, and then you're just personalizing it next time, right? So save new use cases. Whenever you have someone with a new goal, consider just building out as a program, applying it to them, and then maybe using that with other people with that same goal over time. And then the last example is build true templates. Okay, so what do I mean by that? We've said this so many times, when we put like our OPEX coaching education hats on, we tell our coaches, is like, guys, you're not actually recreating the wheel when you give solid program design, right? You're using good principles that are inside of your head, and maybe it's the first time that you're implementing those, but you're not recreating the wheel. So why not build programs with specific training splits? So an example of this would be, I'll just use the full body resistance training split again. Maybe you build out a 3-day per week template, and there's no exercises in it. Maybe it's Monday, A1, you literally put compound squat, then you put the tempo and the reps and the sets and the rest. And then you put A2, you put a compound vertical pull with the tempo, the sets, the reps, the rest, all that stuff. And then B1, you're like, okay, I'm going to do a bend pattern, focusing on the hamstrings. And then B2, I'm going to do a horizontal push pattern, and so on, right? So that's Monday, and then you do Wednesday, and then you do Friday. And then you just save that, right? You save that in as a standard program. And then whenever you have someone that comes in and you're like, yeah, I'm going to do higher volume, full body resistance 3 times per week. Why not just apply that to them and then go in and personalize from there? So you would assign the split and then personalize based on client capabilities and goals. Maybe one client, for their compound squat, they're doing a landmine goblet squat, and that's compound for them. And maybe for another person, you're doing really heavy safety bar cyclist squats or something like that. But you can actually just increase or improve efficiency by building true templates where you're not actually putting in exercise selection. You're just kind of building splits and designs. So a ton of possibilities when it comes to leveraging programs to build efficiencies in your work. Just wanted to offer up a couple that were top of mind for me. All right. And then finally, using CoachRx to drive revenue. So this is another separator, and one that we dug really deep into on that last webinar. So to actually go through that full experience, you can go through the Help Center and search for that webinar or that walkthrough, or you can just watch that on YouTube as well. But this is another separator for the platform, the ability to sell your programs. Okay. So you need to have Stripe integrated in your program product setup. When you sell your program, I just want to walk you guys through the flow and what that experience is like on your side and the client side. When you sell that program, your clients check out via your sales page. Looks very similar to the one that you're seeing on the screen there. So client checks out, you are updated via email that you have a program sale, or that program was sold, and the client who purchased said program, your client's CoachRx account is automatically created. If they're not already a client of yours, they are all automatically dropped into that program, and your client is sent a welcome email walking them through how to download and set up the app. So it's pretty hands-off. You just have to set up the structure. Obviously, you have to build the program. You have to connect it to the product in Stripe. You have to turn that on as public. And then you just, you share that URL and you sell your program, and then CoachRx takes care of the rest. So just walking through steps 1 through 5. Number 1, you connect to the business suite. If you guys are not already connected to the business suite, it literally takes 3 minutes. Just click business and sign up through Stripe. Then you build your program. Then you create the program product. So you create the product. Is it a one-time sale? If it's a live program, I'm going to assume it might be a subscription. And then you connect that to the program. You build your sales page in the program, And then you can also create a storefront where you can sell other things outside of your program. Like if you do one-to-one coaching, in-person, remote, whatever the case is, you can also sell that directly through there. So those are the three pieces I wanted to hit today. Okay, so I just wanted to walk through what we're doing on a monthly basis, pushing programs to you guys to use as inspiration or to use as templates or starting points with your clients. Then I just wanted to walk through some tips on how you can use the features that we offer in programs to improve your efficiencies. And then finally, just wanted to talk about how you can sell those programs. And then I will kick it back over to Candace.
Amazing. We have some discussion going on in the chat box. One of our members joining today had a question about transitioning from TrueCoach and how we can support that process if he has several clients and programs in TrueCoach. So I did want to highlight that we do offer transition assistance for anyone who is transitioning over to CoachRx that was previously on another platform. And if you have over 50 clients, we are absolutely able to transition for you. Just reach out to support team and we'll get you connected with Ashley, our coach success manager. But Carl, is there anything that you'd want to add about that process? I know we've helped several coaches already.
No, not really. I think you hit it, Candace. I think at the heart of that, we just want to make the transition as simple as possible from any platform. So within our abilities, we've done a lot of work and a lot of things within our abilities to make that as seamless as possible. So we have some great devs on the back end that have really dug and kind of unveiled some ways to make that process a little more seamless that I haven't seen any other platforms doing. So yeah, if you guys are interested in making that change over, just reach out to us. Ashley will have a call with you and kind of walk you through what we can do based on your use case and what you want ported over, whether that is historic exercise history, programs that you already have built out. Maybe you're in another platform and you have 1,000 of your own exercises that you filmed and have in that. We can get all that stuff over.
Absolutely. And we don't have limitations necessarily yet on what platforms. I see another question that popped in around Train Heroic as a platform to transition from. But if you do reach out to the support team, get in touch with Ashley, we can have some discussions about what is possible platform by platform. Sometimes we won't know until we actually get in there with you. So go ahead and please reach out to the support team. I also just wanted to touch on Carl, the Coach Like the Pros experience and the programs index and library that we have available for anyone who is inside the platform. We're growing on about 30 programs in that library right now, ranging across a diverse set of avatars. I know that in LearnerX coming in December, you released a Backroom Talk episode where you sort of explore the idea behind the program's library in a bit more detail. And I just love for you to mention some of your thoughts on why we've created it, why we're adding to it, and how coaches can think about using it.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to hit that when I walked through in terms of like, we're at our core, we're an education company. We love proposing new ideas in terms of how to design, principle-based programs. So that's really the main reason where we're just like, okay, we don't want to, most coaches or a lot of coaches are fine to be at their own device, but we just wanted to offer up some support and show examples of, what a 8-week aerobic progression might look like, specifically outside of the principles, like the A, B's, and C's of that, or 15 examples of different examples of a hypertrophy program or a strength building program. So it's more that, and we love to build those things on our end and deploy those out. So like Candace mentioned, we did do that Backroom Talk episode that I think is releasing in the next few days here, where we kind of walked and talked through the spirit behind programs and examples of how we could use those, going even further than what we've discussed today.
I did love the thought that you shared just around the practice for all coaches to be selecting avatars randomly, designing programs from them, even if they are programs that they're going to, end up rolling up on paper and throwing away just for the practice and the skill development. So I thought that was a really great episode. I hope you guys all look out for it. We do have a question about storefronts, and if we have an example. Carl, I did see a reference of a sales page. I don't think we had a storefront in these slides. Our next webinar coming into December will actually be covering the storefronts feature in detail, but I can absolutely find a link and drop a link in the chat to a storefront example for you. Carl, there's a question from Lewis around research that we might have to support specific price points around ID versus programs, and if we have any thoughts on that we can share.
Yeah, gosh, very timely. Our last CCP call, we spent a good amount of time yesterday walking through this. I see a couple people on the call today that were on that closeout call. So yeah, we discussed the idea of value and price points based on that value, and no objective pieces there, because it's like open season in terms of the ability for people to sell ID and programs and all of that. We're definitely not the first to offer up the ability to sell your programs online. We're just trying to do it a little bit smarter. But right now, I think, who is this? Lewis. It's what we're seeing right now is a race to the bottom, right? You know, as the market saturates. And as the market saturates with the same type of thing, and by that I mean like the service offerings aren't actually unique. It's just more of the same. We're just seeing price points go down and down and down. That's from an individual design standpoint as well as a program standpoint. So I guess the lesson out of that is I would think about how you can make what you're doing unique, and not unique just for the sake of saying we're different, but offering unique value to the clients that are coming in, because then you kind of remove yourself from that idea of like, let's all race to the bottom in price points. Because if we're all selling the exact same thing, who's going to sell the most of that thing? The one that is the cheapest. So yeah, finding unique value is going to be really important there.
Monica had a question around assigning programs or unassigning programs after you've already assigned them to a particular client.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you go to this page here, Monica, so you go into the program itself. Let's say I did have someone assigned to this program. I could just go to manage assignments and their name would pop up, and I can just hit an X and it would unassign them from that program. I hope that answered your question. Yeah.
Is there anything that you can share specifically around lifestyle prescriptions and how those may or may not be able to be paired with programs?
Yeah, absolutely. So in the index, we also have, I won't dig too deep here, but in the index, we also have lifestyle. So what we can do there is we can actually build lifestyle programs. But keep in mind, those are different than exercise programs. So the focus of today was just building program designs. But we do have the same ability in the index. It's just going to look a little bit different because it's going to be on the lifestyle calendar instead of the exercise calendar.
And since we have a little bit more time, I know you did cover the difference between the standard and the live programs, but maybe if we could just spend a little bit of time going into more detail there and the use cases for each. I know it tends to be something that confuses quite a few people when they are deciding what type of program is best for them when building.
Yeah. If you have a client or individuals that you want to, and I keep using this term like set it and forget it, where it's like, you know, I have an 8-week pull-up progression program that I want to drop someone in. I want them to start at day 1. And then once they finish at week 8, they're not expecting anything else outside of that program. Okay. So that program just ends and then they're automatically unassigned from that program. So that's like one example of a standard program. It's like it's a typical template, right? It's like buy my 4-week this, my 6-week that. That's kind of the spirit of a standard. A live is it interacts with a live calendar, right? So if I put Candace in a live program of mine and there was no program designed tomorrow, but I went in and programmed something for tomorrow, that's going to populate on Candace's calendar automatically. And then it's going to go into perpetuity until I remove Candace from that live program. So a live program, it's like follow along. We're going to go on this journey together. There's really no end date. A standard program it's week 1 to week 4, and then we're out.
Yeah, I think another compare reference that might help is obviously a lot of our audience came from the CrossFit world. So if you're familiar with a workout of the day type approach, that would be more of the live version. And then the standard program, something that you're going to be much more progressive over a period of weeks.
Yeah.
We do have a question about potentially live demonstrating how you would build out an individual workout and add exercises to a training day. I'm not sure if we have time for that now, but that is a question that has been asked.
Yeah, I think that's simple enough. So I'll just take this example of this client that we walk through. So this is like automatically assigning programs from that programs tab. But if I wanted to just design a program here, you literally just hit add workout. We want to do a back squat. I do the back squat. I add my tempo, my reps, my sets, blah, blah, blah. I add additional exercises, add a circuit, save, and then that would save there. So yeah, you can build workouts one by one as well. It's not the programs isn't actually like the backbone of CoachRx. I think that was Courtney that asked that. So yeah, CoachRx was actually originally built with the intention to be really good at building these single training sessions and individualizing those for clients. So the programs is just a feature that populates all those workouts a little bit quicker.
Carl, there's a question around communication for those clients that are in programs. What kind of communication is enabled for the coach and the client interaction?
Yeah, great question. So let me just click into, I'll click into this program and go to settings. So when you go to settings, you can actually make comments read only. You can make direct messaging read only, so they can't message you. You can disable client upload so they can't upload photos and videos and all of those things, or you can just keep those things enabled. So if you're selling a set it and forget it program and you're like, well, that's not a part of the deal. Like you're not paying me to actually coach you. You're just paying me to do your program. You can disable all of this and then you won't be bothered with comments and direct messages. But if you are like, hey, I'm offering a live program, follow along. I'm also offering, technique tips and all of that stuff, and you can message me and all of that. You can control that through the program itself. Yeah, but that was a good question.
Another one that's come up around standard programs and the program length, assuming a program that was created was 30 days in length, what would happen after that? And if they decided to extend the program, would a client need to resubscribe to a different program or a different product? So I guess just talking about end dates going into designing a standard program and what that subscription process looks like.
Yeah, good question, Candace. So I was talking about Candace with a C. Yeah, good question. So essentially, so if I build a 30-day program and I sell that 30-day program, CoachRx's brain is like, once this 30 days is done, I'm kicking them out of this program. At day 29, if you're like, well, no, I want this to be a 40-day program, and you add workouts, you add 10 extra days to that 30 days. And you click the button that says sync changes. Now that 30-day program goes to a 40-day program for all clients that are not already done. But if you're on day 35 and they ended that program 5 days ago and you add workouts to that, they've already been removed from the program. So you'll have to manually add them in, or they'll have to repurchase to get re-kicked into that. So I hope that makes sense. That's why I offered up that advice. Like, if we're gonna make this into perpetuity, just use live programs. But you can absolutely, if there are use cases where you're like, no, I want to add here, add here, add here, you can do that as long as you do that prior to your clients getting to the end state of that program.
Just along those lines, Carl, I'd love to maybe have you differentiate the goal of the individual design coaching or one-to-one coaching through the platform versus programs, and using programs as a potential way to upsell, which could kick back to the thought on what you decide to enable in the form of communication.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, just so what Candace is referring to is that idea of like, how can we use programs as a more of a tripwire. And so let's say that you are doing individual design and you're just offering a lot of value in your practice, where you're like, we're doing consultations, you have, access to direct message me. I'm looking at technique and giving you feedback and sending you videos and blah, blah, blah. You could use something like a standard program as that tripwire where you don't allow comments, you don't allow direct messages, you don't allow uploads, but you make it really, really clear after that person purchases, and maybe they're a couple weeks in, and you say, you put out that messaging of like, I also do one-to-one if you're looking for this, this, and this. So just an example of not selling someone snake oil by any means, but just being really clear on what the difference is between your program service offering versus your one-to-one service offering.
Perfect. There was a question around timeline on client scheduling. I know it's a little off topic for today's webinar, but maybe if you want to touch on our ability to deliver scheduling as of today.
We don't have that locked in terms of when we're delivering that. So I don't want to throw out when we think. So I'll hold off on that.
Sorry. I meant how we are using other services today and sharing links for scheduling.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The way that we do that now through the app is we allow coaches to put booking links in their org settings. So essentially, like let's say you want to schedule consultations or in-person floor sessions or whatever the case is, you can just plug that into that link, and then in the client app they'll hit book, and then it'll go to whatever it'll keep them in platform or in the app, but it'll essentially just bring in whatever that interface is. So if you're using like Pike 13, or if you're using like Calendly or something like that, or Acuity, it'll show that interface and they can easily book quote unquote through the app. But we're actually using those third parties to handle that right now.
Awesome. Question from Aaron. Will there ever be personalized first name in mass messaging and or email automation for subscription ending?
Yes. Yeah.
And then another one from Candace. In the standard programs, do they access all of the documents that one may have uploaded into the document section?
Yeah, so if they are in your organization account, they do have access through the app, through any documents that you might have. If you do want to share documents with particular clients, what I would recommend is just uploading those documents through their client calendar and clicking that button, allow client to see documents. But if it is from an organization standpoint, everyone in your platform can see that.
Awesome. We'll keep those questions rolling in, guys. We do have a few more minutes. While we're waiting for more to come in, I do just want to remind you that we have just 2 days left of our Black Friday sale. We do have some pretty awesome deals on 25% off your first 3 months of CoachRx, as well as 30% off of any of our annual plans that meet your needs. These are pretty awesome deals, and I don't see those coming back anytime soon, probably if ever. So make sure you take advantage of those if you're not currently on the platform. Again, you'll be able to start that 14-day free trial, join the onboarding webinar, which is a newer element that we've added to the onboarding process. You'll connect with Ashley, our coach success manager. You can also do a one-on-one demo call with her to really go through any specific needs or use cases that you might have. She's great at helping identify ways to work around maybe situations that you might be experiencing in other platforms and help you understand the best way to execute in our platform. So you get some really hands-on support from her. So make sure you take advantage of that, and then take advantage of those Black Friday deals while you can. 2 days left on that.
We'll look into that, Brandon. That's a legit complaint. Gifts. Expand gifts.
Microsoft Clippy, agree. Okay, awesome, guys. It doesn't look like we have too many more questions. You will get a recording email with the link to be able to rewatch this, because I know as you're going through and building out your programs, it's really helpful to use these as a follow along. We'll also include a link to the article that we have on the site that walks you through the process step by step as well. And then lastly, we do have a number of free resources that you're able to access if you're not currently a CoachRx member, and you can do so here. I'll drop the link. But remember, if you are inside CoachRx in your account settings, you can access the new resources hub page, education and resource hub page that we've built out for you guys. There are a ton of really awesome resources there for you, including access to the AI guide and prompt database. Remember, new prompts get added to that monthly. We had 4 go in last month. We'll have a couple more coming in a few days, but those are awesome and really helpful from an efficiency standpoint. But make sure you check out all of those free resources if you're not currently a member. And then when you sign up and start your free trial, check out that education hub and resource page. I don't know, Carl, if you want to show that from your interface, just so people can get a quick view of what's in there.
Sure. I think it'll kick me over there. Yeah, so you just click the toolbar at the top, the account section, and click EDU and resources. Then we have classes, documents, templates, and platform resources. So this will, along with programs that are uploaded into the platform, this will continue to grow as well. So we just wanted to have a hub or a spot to kind of update a little bit more frequently. So this is that section that Candace is talking about.
Perfect. Anything else you want to share to close us out?
No, I mean, as always, I know I'm saying, I say this so you guys kind of get numb to it, but just appreciate all of you guys that are in the platform. Appreciate you guys that are soon to be in the platform. Appreciate all your feedback, and appreciate you guys taking the time and joining us today. I just appreciate it.
Awesome. Likewise, we'll have some exciting things coming in the new year, but in December, we will have one more last webinar to close us out for 2023. We'll be focused on storefronts. So I know we had a couple of questions about that. There are some helpful articles on the site for you to go ahead and start building out your storefront, but look out for next month's webinar so that we can walk you through that step by step as well. Appreciate you guys joining, and we'll chat with you soon.
Yep. Thanks, everyone.